The Franco-Prussian War of 1870 to 1871 is one of the most important yet often overlooked conflicts in European history. It lasted less than a year, but its impact shaped the next 75 years of geopolitics. This war led to the unification of Germany, the collapse of the French Empire, the rise of Prussian militarism, and the deep frustrations that later exploded into World War I. To understand modern Europe, you must understand this war. The story begins with two powerful national ambitions. On one side was France, under Emperor Napoleon III, desperate to maintain its position as the leading power of Europe. On the other side was Prussia, led by Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, a political mastermind who sought to unite the numerous German states into one nation under Prussian leadership. Bismarck had already engineered wars against Denmark and Austria to expand Prussian influence. Now, he needed one last conflict to rally the remaining German states and complete unification. France, proud, heavily armed, and politically insecure, was the perfect opponent. The immediate cause of the war was diplomatic. When the Spanish throne became vacant, a German prince was considered as a candidate. France saw this as a threat. A Prussian allied monarch in Spain would surround France with pro-German governments. After heated exchanges, the French ambassador confronted King Wilhelm I of Prussia at the spa town of Ems. The meeting was polite, but Bismarck edited the king's message, the famous Ems dispatch, to make it appear as if the French ambassador had been rudely dismissed. The French public was outraged, national pride was insulted, newspapers demanded action, and on July 19, 1870, France declared war on Prussia. This was exactly what Bismarck wanted. As soon as war broke out, the southern German states Bavaria, Württemberg, and Baden joined Prussia. Germany was now united in purpose, even if not yet in name. France believed it would win quickly. Napoleon III claimed the French army was the finest in Europe, but reality was very different. France had outdated rifles, slow mobilization, and poor coordination between units. Meanwhile, Prussia had invested heavily in modern military systems. They had railways for rapid troop movement, breech-loading rifles that could fire faster, and highly disciplined officers trained in the Prussian general staff system. Early battles revealed the imbalance. At Wissembourg, a small French force was overwhelmed by a much larger Prussian-led army. Then came the Battle of Worth, where superior Prussian firepower and numbers forced the French to retreat deeper into their territory. But the decisive turning point came at the Battle of Sedan on September 1, 1870. Napoleon III personally accompanied his troops, hoping for a symbolic victory. Instead, he found himself surrounded. Prussian soldiers captured the high ground, artillery pounded French positions, and by the end of the day, the French army was trapped. Napoleon III surrendered, along with more than 100,000 French soldiers. The capture of an emperor on the battlefield was a shocking event that stunned Europe. The French Empire collapsed immediately, and a new government, the Third Republic, was declared in Paris. But even without an emperor, France refused to surrender. The war entered its second phase, the Siege of Paris. Prussian forces surrounded the French capital, cutting off food and supply routes. Inside Paris, the population endured hunger, disease, and freezing winter temperatures. Hot air balloons were used to carry messages over the Prussian lines, one of the most unusual communication methods in military history. Despite some attempts at breaking the siege, the French could not overcome the overwhelming Prussian forces. Outside Paris, new French armies tried to organize resistance. They fought fiercely at battles like Orleans and Le Mans, but they lacked experience and could not match Prussian coordination. Slowly, Prussian troops advanced deeper into France, capturing towns and railways. The situation grew increasingly hopeless for the French government. By early 1871, after months of suffering, Paris finally surrendered. On January 18, 1871, an event occurred that symbolized the new balance of power in Europe. In the Hall of Mirrors at the Palace of Versailles, King Wilhelm I of Prussia was proclaimed Emperor of Germany. The German Empire was born inside France's most iconic palace. It was a deliberate humiliation designed to show that Germany, not France, now dominated continental Europe. The peace treaty that followed was harsh. France was forced to pay a massive indemnity, 5 billion francs, and surrender the territories of Alsace and parts of Lorraine. These lands were strategically valuable and culturally mixed. Their loss deeply wounded French national pride. The demand to reclaim Alsace-Lorraine became a powerful force in French politics for decades, and one of the major causes of World War I. The Franco-Prussian War also triggered internal upheaval within France. After defeat, Paris revolted against the new French government, leading to the Paris Commune, one of the first major socialist uprisings. It was brutally crushed. Meanwhile, in Germany, the victory strengthened militarism and centralized power in the hands of Prussian elites. Militarily, the war demonstrated the importance of railways, rapid mobilization, artillery coordination, and professional military staff planning. These lessons would shape the strategies of both sides. In the First World War, emotionally, the war left Europe divided. Germany felt triumphant and confident. France felt humiliated and vengeful. The map of Europe had changed, but so had the psychology of its nations. This single conflict planted the seeds of future wars. In less than a year, the Franco-Prussian War reshaped Europe. It destroyed an empire, created a new one, altered borders, fueled nationalism, introduced new military tactics, and set the stage for the global conflicts of the 20th century. A short war with long consequences. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which historical topic you want next.